one. Thank you, Rebecca. Hey, so I heard you were in Halifax, Canada over the weekend?
Yeah, for like 4 hours.
Really? Like, what happened?
So I left Thursday. The show was Friday. Left Thursday and flew to Chicago, and then my flight from Chicago to Halifax was canceled. So I had to stay the night in Chicago, and then caught a 6 a.m. flight from Chicago to Boston, but that left a half an hour late, so I missed my connecting flight from Boston to Halifax.
And you got a show.
No, so I spent 9 hours in the airport on Friday. The show was supposed to be at 9:30 at night. I didn't arrive to Halifax until 11 o'clock at night, so I turned around, missed the show. Spent 4 hours in my hotel room, had a 4 a.m. lobby call to fly all the way back home.
Oh, man.
But I made it here.
That's what counts. There you are. That's Seaside. Woo.
Comes with the territory. It's not going to always be, perfect.
And did Sheila understand?
Totally understood. I kept them in communication.
Thousands of people came out.
It was travel stuff. It was out of my control. It was weather issues back east and stuff. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least you're here. That's the important part. Our Rebecca Jade is home. Anyway, good morning, Seaside. Wow, what a joy it is to be with you on this wonderful day at Seaside. Truly a beautiful day where good is going on. We're celebrating the summer. We've got this wonderful cinema series that is unfolding here at Seaside. And what we truly believe is that Seaside is a thriving spiritual community that inspires us to live our divinity. And what we love to do is put Spirit first when we're on 11-hour delays in airports, or whether we're on the freeway or wherever it is, to be able to go to Spirit first. And by consistently including Spirit in our life, when those challenging moments show up, the first thing you do is you don't go, you go, God, thank you. And so to take us to a deeper place this morning is a wonderful practitioner here at Seaside, part of the practitioner corps, and that is Rebecca Berry.
Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning.
Please join with me in the silence. As we come together in a consciousness of love and healing, knowing there is a power for good in the universe, the same power that holds the sun, the stars, and the universe in place is in each and every one of us. And this power and light and love permeates every particle of my being, bringing every area of my life into wholeness. I am perfect love, and I see that perfect love in every person I meet, and they respond with love. There is so much love within my heart. It is overflowing and radiates out in all directions, blessing and touching and healing. There is so much love within my heart. It now covers the entire room. All of Encinitas, the United States. There is so much love within my heart. It covers the entire planet. If there is any person, place, or thing that needs my love, they accept it now. All minds are one. My heart's desires are God's desires for my life. And as I bring my request to the altar, God always says yes, and even better and greater than I can ever even imagine or expect. I am here by a divine assignment. I receive exactly what I need to receive, as infinite wisdom is revealed through Dr. Christian today. I give freely, knowing that which I give out comes back to me multiplied many times over. I remember who I really am and what I'm really doing here. and that I am fully supported as the universe is conspiring in my favor to step into the grandest plan and vision for my life, for the life of this church, and for the life of the planet. And knowing so that with God, all things are possible.
Breathe in, let the power of love fulfill you. Breathe out, let the troubles of life be gone. Release all the worries you have for tomorrow. Look within. Let's begin as one. Breathe in, let the power of love fulfill you. Breathe out, let the troubles of life be gone. Release all the worries you have for tomorrow. Look within, let's begin as one.
Good morning, family. Excuse me, I'm a little extra moved this morning. Thank you, Rebecca, Jade, for that amazing song. Thank you, Rebecca Berry, for bringing us so deep. Would you breathe with me for a moment, family? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Audra Nicole. I'm on staff here at Seaside. I have the special honor and privilege of working with these incredible team members all week long, not just on Sundays. And if this is your very first time with us this morning, I want to say a very extra special welcome to you. Whoever you are and wherever you've been, please know that you are always, always welcome here. We are so excited to have you that we went ahead and made you a welcome packet anticipating your arrival. These welcome packets are available at the welcome table in the main doors, and they have all kinds of wonderful goodies in them for you. So if it's your first time, please grab one. Another thing to know is that if you see anyone wearing these green sashes, it means that they are a licensed spiritual practitioner here at Seaside, and it also means that they are available for you today for prayer. So if there's anything on your heart that you would love support with, please allow us to pray for you. Don't be shy. Or maybe there's something joyous that you're looking for even more support in celebrating all of the good with Spirit. If you'd rather not speak to someone, but you would still love a prayer, we have these wonderful prayer request cards and prayer boxes available. We have one here in the Dolphin Legacy corner, and we also have one in the west entrance. Now, generally during this time, I would do a reading, but today we have a very, very special announcement. So, without further ado, I am going to welcome beloved Callie Sorensen and our treasurer, Mark Sands, up for this next piece.
Good morning. So speaking of serving in a holy, holy way, many of you knew Sandy Atkinson, yes? Sandy was a beloved charter member of our community and a charter Seaside board member. She was also one of our practitioners for over 25 years. Sandy made her transition a year ago this month, and she leaves a lasting legacy, I know, in my heart, and definitely here in our Seaside community and our family. Sandy led a life of sacred activism, championed many causes for women's rights, social justice, and care and keeping of our earth. She was not only a dear friend of mine, but a mentor who inspired me in countless ways to take a stand for environmental justice. She was a founder of the Seaside Earth Care Ministry, which initiated the Earth Care program that Seaside continues to practice, supported by myself and the Seaside Sisters. In June 2018, just a month prior to her passing, I was so pleased that I was able to honor her with the Seaside Sisters Awakened Woman Award for her social justice and her spiritually motivated activism. Moving forward, the Seaside Sisters Awakened Woman Award will now be presented to women who are also dedicated to sacred activism, and it will be presented in Sandy's name from here for us. Sandy was actively involved and supported countless other nonprofits and related to feminine empowerment and environmental innovation, one of which was her 25-year as the executive director of the Solana Center for Environmental Innovation, educating students and families on ways to live more sustainably and protect our earth. Just one of her many, many ways that she served this community. And our community garden, some of you may have visited or known about. It's on our east property right next to the North Cottage and the Village Gate School. This was one of her many passions that Seaside, that she had here at Seaside. She spearheaded and supported the community garden for years. In her honor, Sandy's contribution and the lasting legacy she left us all here at Seaside and the community garden is also henceforth to be called the Sandy Atkinson Community Garden. So we invite you and her Seaside family and her community of friends to join us in July 20th. I believe the Men's Club are going to host a cleanup of our garden and our grounds. You're invited to come and honor Sandy in this way, which we did regularly in our garden. And also on the 21st, next Sunday, we are going to be honoring Sandy with a permanent plaque in her honor between services at about 10:30 up on the East Campus. And we invite you to come in her memory and be part and witness this special celebration for her with this permanent dedication of Sandy's plaque. But right now we just have a short video that we want to share with you about Sandy, and then one of our board members, Mark Sands, is going to come up and tell you about another special honoring. Thank you.
United we stand, we're making a difference when we join hands. It's the power of women who will heal this world. The power of women, the power of women, the power of women. It's the goddess, it's the matriarch, it's the maiden, the crone, every color, every race, through the ages it's been shown that women have compassion, women show the way to a world that's filled with peace and love. Let me hear you say, it's the power of women.
amazing legacy that Sandy has left in changing lives. And I'm pleased to make another announcement of something that Sandy did for her Seaside community. In addition to remembering her family and other nonprofits that she supported, many nonprofits, Sandy made a significant bequest to Seaside in her estate planning. With $25,000 from that bequest, your Board of Trustees has established the Seaside Center for Spiritual Living Endowment Fund with the Science of Mind Foundation. And the Science of Mind Foundation has matched that $25,000 dollar for dollar so that we have a combined starting endowment of $50,000. The endowment fund will offer an opportunity for you and other Seaside members to follow Sandy's lead and consider remembering Seaside in your estate planning or by tithing to the endowment during your lifetime. The principle of the fund and the endowment will be allowed to grow for the future of the Seaside community and over time develop a sustaining income for Seaside's financial stability and future growth. I hope you will join me in contributing to the new Seaside Endowment Fund. Sandy's gracious bequest has allowed us to start this endowment and look after Seaside's future. Thank you.
Wow, that's incredible. Good morning, Seaside. It is my honor to introduce our guest artists, and we love when this duo is here. And today we actually have a third element added to the party. So when Nathan and Janice play at Martini's Above Fourth every Friday night, it's actually a trio. So it's Nathan, Janice, and on drums is Tony Davis. And so he's here today with us this morning as well. And let's just give a warm Seaside welcome, Tony, Nathan, and Janice.
1, 2,
We
3,
were thinking about how long we've been out here, and I was thinking like, it's been over 13 years since the first time I've come to Seaside. I remember that so well because I had long black braids back then, okay? I have definitely changed, but I walked downtown one day and I walked into a club and there was this beautiful lady back there playing piano and singing. So I got up there and I started singing with her, and we just got to talking and having fun together. And she looked at me and she said, "I want you to sing at my church." And I said, "You do?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "Come on, sing at my church." So I said, "All right." But you know, usually when people say that, you know, it falls by the wayside. But not with Reverend Fran. She kept on me about coming out here. And I remember that first time I came out here, she said, "I want you to sing a soul-stirring gospel song, something to shake up the people." I said, "Okay, all right, I'll do that." Well, I want to do that in memory of her today. I want to sing that same song. Let's have some fun this morning. Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, everywhere I go, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Out the dark, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine.
is Janice Edwards, Nathan Fry, Tony Davis, and our very own Rebecca Jade. Oh my goodness, I can just feel like I'm in that. Reverend Fran's just jumping up and down. She's just cheering right on. Just, woo! What a testimony. I've got to testify. Woo! That's it. And that old-fashioned gospel going on, that spiritual energy. What a perfect song for today's message, because today's message follows the wonderful theme of healing we've had going on all year. And we're doing the summer series of the hidden messages of cinema. And today it's about Patch Adams, a guy who was willing to let his light shine. And he took heat, he took hassles, he took expulsion, and he put it all on the line for something that was stirring within his soul and his spirit. And so it's based on a movie that's kind of a semi-biographical, came from his book that he wrote, and it was kind of a statement on the medical world. You know, if it was 40 years ago, he was saying, you know what, the communication level between doctor-patient isn't very good. You know, patients are being treated like just a body. You know, they're not being included in the healing process. He was not pleased with the insurance system that was going on at that particular time in the world. He was not pleased with the expenses of the medical world. And so he wrote this book about it, and it was just picked up. It was like, wow, this is a message. And the movie was pretty, I won't say panned, but there were no thumbs up from the critiques out there in the world about this movie. But it was a phenomenon within our culture. It grossed over $200 million, which is a wonderfully successful movie today. But if you stop to think 20 years ago, that was over-the-top success, because it had a message that, you know what, that medical world, hey, don't forget to include the patient in there. You know, it's not like a doctor has the God complex and I'm going to tell you what to do with your body and it will heal. You know, you go back to the Hippocratic oaths and say, you know, there's a combination here. You know, if you don't have the patient's buy-in, it doesn't matter what you do right there, nothing's going to happen. There's a spirit that's involved. Voltaire said that the medical artistry is keeping the patient amused while nature does its thing. You know, it's like getting that. So anyway, the movie begins. Patch Adams is admitting himself into a mental ward. He has depression going on. He has suicidal thoughts, and he goes ahead and puts himself in. And as the doors and cages are locking behind him, his heart's just dropping, because he's looking into the eyes of the wards or the guards of the place, and they are just they're not engaged. It's like they're just going through the motion. The nurses are sarcastic, which is unusual for the nurses, because nurses are the heart and the soul of it all. They're there with you every day. And then he sits down with the doctor. You know, it's doctor-centered therapy, the psychiatric doctor who he figures going to be listening to him. And what he came to discover is that doc was not home. His body was there, but as Hunter Adams, his name, was just putting his soul out there. Doctor's making coffee, going, yeah. So Robin Williams starts saying some ridiculous things. Doctor, yes. Good God, oh, your time's up. And that was it. And what Hunter Adams got was, this doesn't work. That the medical world needs to include communication. It's not just about manipulating a physical body. And yet now he was inside this place. And so what he came to do is he started to relate with the patients that were in there, the other guys and women that were locked into this ward. And in his room, he had this one guy who was going off because he saw squirrels climbing up. And so what Robin Williams did is he knocked down the squirrel, and the guy got excited, and he had to go to the bathroom, but he was afraid of the squirrels, and he got knocked over the bed, and he started playing shoot the squirrels with the guy, and he was laughing and having a great time in a ball. He took out the bazooka and blew them all away, and just this was like an exciting time. The guy came alive. There hadn't been laughter in that place forever. The wardens came in to calm it down, and then there was another guy who would walk around, this brilliant mind, Arthur Mendelsohn. a billionaire. You know, I think he was thrown there because he stole a tuba or something to play on his yacht. But anyway, he was a mathematician, sold many patents, had much money, and he was always working on these equations of creativity. And he'd walk around and hold up 4 fingers. He would do this all the time that people wouldn't even pay attention. How many fingers? How many fingers? They say there's 4 fingers. Oh, you know nothing. You know. And finally, what Robin did was something that none of the doctors did or anybody else. And he went to Arthur's room one night and sat down and said, Arthur, help me see what I'm not seeing here. You know, how many fingers? And Arthur went on to explain that people only see what's put in their face. But if you look beyond, you put your focus beyond what is immediately seen, like the disease, there's more to it. And all of a sudden, he began to see the fingers go out of focus, and there were 8 fingers there. Well, what happened, he also fixed his coffee cup there too. You know, it was leaking on all of his work, which is how he got his name, Patch. You know, Arthur gave him Patch. And so what Patch did is he left that place with the desire, you know what? I felt good helping people. I noticed that I had this natural gift that made people laugh and have a good time. And so 2 years later, he entered into the Virginia Medical School. And he came to realize in this place that he could find happiness no matter where he was. If people could find happiness no matter where they were, healing could go on. He got in trouble for being happy. He'd say, but you don't have to apologize for being happy. And so he entered into this medical school, and he instantly came head to head button heads, with the dean of the school, Dr. Dean Wilcott, who did not believe that the patient was a human being, that you treated the patient as a patient, you do not befriend them. And Patch did not agree, and so they were not on the best of terms to start off. But you know what? Happiness, Dale Carnegie would say, it doesn't matter, where you are or who you are or what you have. It's a matter of thinking. That's the difference. It's your mind. It is your consciousness. Ingrid Bergman, I like what she said. She said, happiness, that's good health and a bad memory. It's like, you got to let that stuff go behind you. You got to get into it. And Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, he's kind of on board with everybody who's also talking that. He's saying, there's more than just dealing with the physical here. He talks about, in his book, In the Science of Mind, which all you textbook-toting metaphysicians who have it with you, page 225. He writes that back of nearly every discord or disorder, there is some subjective complex or mental knot that needs to be untied. And generally, it's some suppressed emotion, which perhaps is centered around affections, the likes or dislikes, the loves, the passions, and everything which goes with them. And these knots must be untied. And it's the business of the practitioners to help untie those. So if you go to a spiritual practitioner, what you'll find is they're going to sit there and they're going to listen. They're going to listen to what's in your heart and your soul and your spirit and begin to see you for who you are. What brought you to this place within your life? Well, what Hunter Adams saw in the medical school as they began to go into the hospitals a little bit is he saw the nurses were not treated well. And the nurses are the ones that are in there every day. They're the ones who have their hands on with the patients, emptying the bedpans, doing the dirty work, caring for them in the middle of the night. And they were treated like second-class citizens. He felt that the nurses should at least be as equal to the doctors because they're with them all the time, caring, doing the loving, the sharing. He also saw that there was a children's ward, and all the kids in there were just subdued. There weren't any toys. There wasn't any color. It was sterile. The cancer ward where the kids were bald and there was no happiness. There was no joy. There was no music. There was nothing going on in there. He also saw somebody being admitted into emergency. It was like a mom or some family member and her kid had been in an accident and didn't know if she's going to live or going to die. It was like a traumatic moment between life and death. And she is being detained at the check-in center filling out forms. And she's trying to fill out forms. She can't think. She needs her medical card. She has to go out in the car to get her medical card, and her daughter could be dying on the table while they are making her take care of paperwork. He felt that's ridiculous. What was he thinking? He chose to have his light shine in a way. He was in there, and the third-year medical students were shadowing the dean, Dr. Wilcott, and there was a person on a gurney who had diabetes, and it was coming through their skin, and it wasn't pretty. And the doctor said, "Okay, students, that disease, diabetes, what's going on there? What would you do?" And so these white coat medical third-year students go over and they start, they're looking down on it and they're diagnosing, saying, hey, this is what's going on. This is what could be happening. This is what you could do. I would use this stream. No, I would use this stream. And you could just see the fear going over this lady's face with all these white coat guys coming down with no feeling that Patch Adams said, hey, and he busted through the crowd and took her hand. Just put his face and said, dear, darling, what's your name? Oh, but simple heart, connection, spirit, human being. You want healing to take place, you've got to bring humanity back into it. His book or his movie is a statement on the inhumanity of the medical world 40 years ago. I got a video clip here of Patches walking by the kids' ward. He just saw these kids, and none of the doctors would go in there and connect with them, but the nurses just loved him. Yeah. It's about 3 minutes.
Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Cameron.
Hi, Cameron. I'm Patch.
I have a cold. Just a bit of a cold. Is my nose red? Oh, it is.
It's red.
What's that? You don't?
I don't either.
Let's find out.
Taxi!
Try on you.
It's working very well.
Bee kisses.
Hi.
Hi.
Mind if I sit down? Hello, my friend. Hello.
Oh, look out!
What is going on here?
That was Dr. Dean. And so, needless to say, Patch got himself in big trouble, and the dean called him in and said, you can't do that. Those patients have got to respect you. You cannot make them your friends. You are the one who is in charge. What you have got to do, I'm not going to suspend you yet, but I'll tell you what, we have got this big obstetrician conference coming to our campus. And what I want you to do is make sure they are greeted well. And so as the obstetricians are coming off the bus, OBGYNs, guys, they're coming off the bus, and they look up at the campus in the building. The big building has these two set of legs, the size of the building, spread out with the door right in the middle. And Robin Williams walks out and greets everyone, says, "Come on in," which quickly got him expelled from the campus. And so he went ahead and took it to the chancellor. The chancellor looked at his history and began to recognize, you know what, you got the top grades in the class. The patients are actually responding to you. It is just not theoretical. And, there is just something that you're doing. You've got to behave yourself. Don't get yourself in, trouble with Dr. Wilcox quite as much. But you can notice with Robin Williams, what he did right there is a sterile environment. He found some joy and some humor to make a difference, which is what we started off with here, is right where I am, I can choose to be happy. Brene Brown says, I don't need an extraordinary moment to find happiness. I can find it right where I am if I pay attention and practice gratitude. Whoa, is right, Brene. Benjamin Franklin said that the Constitution, only gives us the right to pursue happiness, but you're the one who has to go out and catch it. It's like you're the one who has got to go make the difference. And so when he got in trouble after those legs, and Wilcox said, you know what? Did you not get healed by the doctors at that psychiatric ward? And he said, no. I got healed by the patients that allowed me to play with them, to make them laugh. And he came to recognize that it was in the giving and the sharing that all of a sudden there was a difference that began to take place inside of him. And that became an important part of the healing process, is for both sides to be involved with the healing that is going on. And then that the laughter became a very prominent piece of Patch Adams' expression. And we probably remember from the same era, Norman Cousins, remember his book, Anatomy of an Illness? He laughed his way back from cancer by watching, Candid movies and laughing. He used to say laughing is inner jogging. One of his sayings was, one of the saddest things is not death. The saddest thing isn't death. One of the saddest things is those who die inside while they're still alive. These treatments that we get are to bring the life back, is to get the energy going, is to get the hope, to remember what it is that we came here to do and not to get stuck. Virginia Woolf said, I've lost friends, some to death and some by the sheer inability to be able to cross the street. How many people have all of a sudden allowed the fear and the concerns to keep them, that they have put a bushel over their light, that they no longer let their light shine? And Norman Cousins was on to say that optimism is not concerned about the facts. It pays more attention to the prospects. And that pessimism is just a waste of time. And so if we can get back to shifting our awareness and realizing that the healing is a matter of patient and doctor working together. Ernest Holmes never said that we don't use doctors. We believe that the medical modality is a wonderful avenue through which the infant intelligence moves forward, but it's engaging in the consciousness. The doctor can put you back together, but if you're not on board and you don't want to get healed, there's nothing that's going to happen no matter what they do to you. But if it's a partnership and say, okay, I'm ready to go with this, I'm ready for healing. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about, the neurons that fire together, wire together, you create those new neural pathways. And what he says is that you cannot create a new future if you're holding on to your past emotions. If you're holding on to those past stories, if you're holding on to what was, it's not working. And so those individuals, those doctors that come in and go through in 5 minutes and admit you without connecting with you, they're forgetting an integral piece where the Deepak stuff, That's it. I'm forgetting the A. Ayurvedic medicine. It's all about that connection. It's all about coming together and being there. Dispenza goes on and says, science shows that your thoughts create a chemical within your body. This is what science is showing. Good thoughts create a chemical that creates a good feeling in your body, and a negative thought creates a chemical that creates something that reflects the thinking. It reflects the challenge. And so all of a sudden we recognize that there's something more that is going on. Ernest Holmes, one of the first chapter in the Science of Mind, says, behind the individual is the infinite. Behind the individual is the infinite. And what we get to do is be that channel. Jesus said, your faith has made you whole. If you don't have faith in whatever modality you are choosing, it's not going to fully work. But if you choose to get the body, the mind, and the spirit lined up, and humor is a great way, lightening up, allowing your light to shine is a terrific way to do things in this process. And so a couple years into his med school, he's getting some of the students to come around. Most medical students didn't like Hunter because he was smart and he didn't really have to study like all they did. He was having fun and they were stressing out. Their parents had been doctors and he had just come from this inner calling. And the people and the patients were responding to him. The nurses were responding to him. The children were responding to him. It didn't really go over that well, but he got a couple to come over to his side because he's thinking, this system isn't really working. I'm going to create my own institution, my own healing institute, which he did. He went out and back to the mental ward he was in and connected with Arthur Mendelsohn. Remember him? Beginning of my story? Super rich guy who went out and bought him 105 gorgeous, pristine, wooded acres with a bluff overlooking the valley in West Virginia that was absolutely spectacular with a cabin on it. And this one girl that was part of the medical students, with him, Corinne, she was a sourpuss. Man. She just was not fun and always just condemning his approach. But he got her and somebody else come along and watched how people responded. And she began to warm up a little bit. And as she began to warm up and he began to listen, she shared her dream was to be like a caterpillar, where at some point the caterpillar just leaves behind the body and the old life and turns into a beautiful butterfly and flies away. And as they talked more, she began to reveal for the first time to anybody that as a child she had been molested, at which point she just shut down and created a block and didn't integrate in any of that. And she just said she was going to become a medical student and not reflect. And as she shared that, she began to warm up. She began to loosen up. She began to have the experience of what it was like to connect. And so she got on board to help create this new medical facility, along with a couple others. And they painted this place. And all of a sudden, this new medical facility began to flourish. The people were showing up right and left. They weren't disseminating medicine, but they were healing and breaks and sprains and medical situations. And that medical facility, the Gesundheit Institute, is now still going 45 years later. Some of its foundational principles are they refuse to charge for medical treatment, that they will not accept money from third parties, meaning insurance companies, private or public, that they do not carry any malpractice insurance, that if you're going to check in, you got to expect your initial consultation is going to take between 3 to 4 hours, that the caregivers are as important as the care receivers, that the patients are our friends, and the sixth one is they are open to the different modalities that are complementary to support the healing process. And this institute is still going on. And what would happen is the people would come, and what then would happen is that they began to be the givers after the receivers. They would cook, they would clean, they would paint, they would talk, they would relate, they would create friendships. And all of a sudden, it was this symbiotic relationship that was working phenomenally well that got Dr. the dean, Wilcott, really upset, that expelled him and said, out you go. You can't do this. And he's down and he's out. He's sad. And then really what was the tipping point was Corinne had received a call while everybody was out of the medical center to go visit this person had mental disorders. And you shouldn't go to somebody's house, really. They could come there. She went to the house, and he took her life and then committed suicide, which devastated our Patch. And in a scene in the movie, as he goes to the edge of that bluff overlooking the woods, just crushed, life's not working, the dean is after him. He feels guilty and responsible for the loss of the life of not only the student, but really probably the first and only love that he had in his life. And he's contemplating taking his life. He's, God, you got to help me here. You got to tell me something. You got to give me something to go on. And as he's getting ready, thinking about jumping, a monarch butterfly, that was who she wanted to be, comes and lands on his medical bag that he had left on the ground. And flies on up and lands on his shirt. I get it, God, I get it. And flies away. And with that, he found what was necessary to begin to step into his power in a new kind of public way. And so rather to allowing himself to be expelled the semester before he completed medical school, he decided he was going to take the dean to the state medical board because he was being charged for exhibiting excess happiness, as well as having a medical institute without a license. And so the movie, in a sense, kind of wraps itself up with him standing kind of like in a courtroom before the state board and panel. And it's not a courthouse, but it's like that. It's just packed with doctors and observers and court reporters. And the upper balcony is just filled with all of his medical student colleagues that he'd been going to school with that despised him from the beginning, but saw his results, saw him making a difference. This Lone Ranger taking on a whole medical institution on his own by saying, you know what, we need to be friends and connect with the heart and the soul with who we're doing. It's not just a God complex of the doctors down. And he makes this appeal. So I'll wrap it up with this. Mar.
Now here today, this room is full of medical students. Don't let them anesthetize you. Don't let them numb you out to the miracle of life. Always live in awe of the glorious mechanism of the human body. Let that be the focus of your studies and not a quest for grades, which will give you no idea what kind of doctor you will become.
Mr. Adams, please turn and
don't wait till you're on the ward to get your humanity back. Start your interviewing skills now. Start talking to strangers. Talk to your friends. Talk to wrong numbers. Talk to everyone.
Mr. Adams.
And cultivate friendships with those amazing people standing in the back of the room. Nurses, they can teach you. They've been with people every day. They wade through blood and shit. They have a wealth of knowledge to share with you. And so do the professors you respect, the ones who are not dead from the heart up. Share their compassion. Let that be contagious.
Mr. Adams, I demand that you turn and address the board.
Sir, I want to be a doctor with all my heart. I wanted to become a doctor so I could serve others. And because of that, I've lost everything. But I've also gained everything. I've shared the lives of patients and staff members at the hospital. I've laughed with them. I've cried with them. This is what I want to do with my life. And as God is my witness, no matter what your decision today, sir, I will still become the best damn doctor the world has ever seen. Now, you have the ability to prevent me from graduating. You can keep me from getting the title and the white coat. But you can't control my spirit, gentlemen. You can't keep me from learning. You can't keep me from studying. So you have a choice. You could have me as a professional colleague, passionate, or you can have me as an outspoken outsider, still adamant. Either way, I'll probably still be viewed as a thorn. But I promise you one thing. I am a thorn that will not go away.
Is that all?
I hope not, sir.
We will adjourn briefly.
Love wins. Love wins. No matter what that condition is, you can't go wrong with that. And I'll leave you with one of his lines as well known. He says, if you treat just the disease, you may win, you may lose. But if you treat the person, I guarantee you will always win, and they will be better for it, no matter what the outcome. God bless us as we remember to love always. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Janice and Nathan back to the stage and Tony on those skins. Got to give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Two of us, we've got the world and all of its charms. And when the world is through with us, oh, we've got each other's arms. Oh, you've got to win. Janice Edwards, Nathan Fry. Woo. Beautiful. The story and the glory of love. What a perfect song for today. My goodness. Well, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to share our gift, to give our offering, to just acknowledge the presence of God that is showing up in our life. We get to listen to our heart to say, yes, man, the divine's doing good in my world, and I want it to be out there in a greater way. And as you support Spirit's work, what you find is Spirit supports its work is your life, because behind the individual is the infinite. As you allow yourself to be the activity that Spirit is having, what happens in your life is that is the activity it's having. It is abundance, it is flow, it is health, because as Spirit flows, it purges out anything unlike itself. And so if you allow that Spirit to move through you, that fear and the concern dissolves into the nothingness from which it came. And what remains is a deep connectedness with God itself, the abundance, the health, the wealth. It is all a manifestation of Spirit. It is all energy taking form. And so this is the time of the service where we get to say, thank you, God. Just thank you, life or Spirit or whatever that essence is, for it supports this vortex, this holy ground upon which Seaside stands, and allows what we're doing here to continue and to shine in a brighter way. And it allows your world to be able to move with a greater ease and grace and motion. There's a movement that comes. So listen to your heart and be able to say thank you with your action. With that, I want to invite our ushers to come forward. I want to say thank you to this wonderful crew that's at that door every week, just greeting you, loving you, supporting us, finding us seats, taking the collection that ends up supporting what's going on here. So thank you to you guys. Thank you to those who mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. It's greatly appreciated, as well as those who practice the auto tithe, that regular systematic support. Say, hey, it is connected. It is a regular movement moving through me. And whether I'm here or not, I know that I am part of this Spirit's activity in the giving and the receiving and the flowing and the growing. So with that, I'm going to share a prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities. For truly, this is a blessed moment where the fullness of the divine has its way. For the wonder and the blessings of Spirit moves in this moment, and we become that wonderful recipient of the divine download. For being in that place where Spirit continues to move, we're able to step forth bolder, stronger, more confident, with a deep sense of security and well-being that rests upon a peace that knows that God is my source and that it is truly inexhaustible. And I become that vortex through which that infinite passes into form through my actions, through my consciousness. And so right now I'm filled with a sense of gratitude to be able to share this, which is blessed my life and brought love, and I share this. And in this sharing with my spiritual community, in supporting God's work, what I find is my life reflecting the work of God itself, my life being filled with the joy, the excitement, the passion, with things working out where there's a sense of question. For that gift in which I give, I know continues to bring blessings all the way down the line. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to not only be reminded, but to be a practicer of the spiritual truth that I know is the truth. And so it is. Amen. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Okay. guys from Seaside. Great job, guys. And so as I stand before this bounty, I can feel the outpouring of the love. I feel the outpouring, the caring, and the compassion, the giving, and just the blessedness that comes with this gift. For I know each and every one has been blessed by that infinite expression of God, has become that divine download of ever greater expanding good, has become masterful manifestors as they participate in this wonderful flow of life. And I know that this gift that has been given in love, it is received in love, it is handled in good stewardship, and it is put forth back out into that wonderful flow, bringing the greater good and blessings for which it was given to all those it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to actually be Spirit in action. And so it is. Amen. All right. This is Mark Sands. He is your board treasurer. Visionary, taking the wonderful bequest to Sandy Atkinson and turning it into an endowment. We locked it up with the movement, so it is good and safe for years, if not decades to come. It's a wonderful seed, and doubled it, and $50,000 in our first endowment. So that's very exciting. Thank you for having us do that, and for the dedication of the gardens between services, 10:30 next Sunday. So come on early. We'll put that beautiful bronze plaque. Is it here? Hopefully. No, we know. Okay, that's it, by the end of the week. Anyways, come do that with us. So, how wonderful. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Mark Sands. My goodness. Nathan and Janice, Tony, fabulous morning. And your first song today with Rebecca, that will be one of those memorable moments in musical history at Seaside. One of them was your Reverend Fran doing Rihanna with Fleetwood Mac, with Bob doing dueling saxophones with Mark Lessman. I want you to know this one ranks right up there as one of those magical, powerful, off-the-chart moments of musical sound. So 4 of you, it was great. And drum roll, please.
No, just wanted to, we were just
drum roll.
Shared
Seriously, Jerry, drum roll.
Just wanted to share with our beautiful Seaside congregation that Janice and Tony got engaged last month. They're gonna get married.
Hey.
So congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. Audra, just another fun day at Seaside. Thank you for helping it be that way, making it that way. Always a joy to share Sunday with you. Sound today is Ed. Thank you very much. Visuals, Marv. Great job, guys. Know that there is a CD available after the service. If you would like one, you can get that at the bookstore, or you can just have the podcast sent you every week on your phone or at home, wherever you want, no cost, and you can hear it, you can share it, or you can watch the live streaming when it goes up online. And I want to thank our wonderful camera crew and our editing crew that's behind that wall. Somehow they are sharing it with the world, and all of you that are online, we know that you're there having great conversations without us, but at least you're having those, and that's just very beautiful. So thank you for your love and the gifts that you share with Seaside, your prayer requests, and just reaching out. So take a look at Sunday program, see what is going on. Let's see, tonight, the metaphysical Hitchcock. How can Psycho be metaphysical? Well, you got to come out and see Reverend Catherine Bonin. Catherine, you're here. You want to stand up? You want to be at the education table afterwards. Clever idea. Just perfectly fits in with our whole hidden message of the cinema. Tonight, it's going to be about the movie The Vanishing Woman, and the spiritual principle we'll be looking at is faith, and how she does that. You've got to show up to find out, because I don't know, but it's exciting. And next Saturday morning, the men's group is getting together, so you want to join them, and then go over some reading, and then stick around 10 o'clock. Brother Brian, Reverend Brian, Dr. Brian is doing a class on how to handle fear, right? Saturday, just a quick Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. Brian, hang out at that education table so you can talk to people. Yeah, you can even stand up, let them see you. I'm going to see if I can maybe get him to talk sometime this summer while I'm out. So anyway, hey, let's see what anybody want to share over here. What's going on? For me, you are a flower girl. Thank you very much. Gosh, you want to say anything? You? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Hey.
Today I made some color coding, and it's like color by number, and all the numbers say the color.
Very nice. That's good. Did you want to say something? Yeah. All right. Hey, Natalia, how's it going with people saying, hey, they want to help out with you? They lining up yet? Room for more. Okay. All right, so that's good. If you want to help the children for an hour up there, it is a great gift to you. So I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to pray because healing is where it's at. You know, Patch is out there. He does all those things so people can become available to healing. We do Sunday morning that leads to this moment so we can become available to that healing, that download of the divine, allow nature to take its place. So the morning we're rising in consciousness to come to that place, and I want to invite any of our religious science ministers or practitioners to stand and just allow us all to feel this upliftment of that divine vibration, that energy, as I begin to lift my awareness to that God presence, that light, that vibrancy, that frequency, that wonderful divine emanation of the life force itself. All sense of separation just dissolves, and I begin to recognize that what is within, behind, as me is the infinite. For then the beginning was spirit. That's all it had to create from. It's infinite. There is nothing else. So the truth of you, of me, of all is of that infinite God stuff. And so in this moment, I come back to the remembrance of that. I allow my whole being at the cellular level to just resonate with its innate blueprint of the divine. And it's in this wonderful frequency that healing can happen. I could stop here if one truly embraced that essence of the God motion in physical form. I don't need to tell the intelligence that guides the universe what to do. I must become available, get my little self out of the way. The one that has forgotten how to laugh out of the way. So that part of my spirit that is alive and dynamic, current, can be a place of healing. For that spirit moves. If there's anyone here today experiencing any challenge in the physical form, know that this body is the temple of God, that this body knows how to heal itself, and that it is the combination, it is the alignment of the spirit, the soul, and the body, allowing that spirit to express through whatever modalities of choice. For it is in this new thought that I begin to recognize the wonderful unfoldment of God as my very life, and this I am grateful for. For the healing happens, the abundance flows, the relationships become intimate and honest and just filled with integrity, co-creative expressions. And that love is exchanged between family, patient-client, business, friends, loved ones, intimacy, acquaintances. For it is right to share that love that is God always. And so it's in this sharing that my life becomes exciting. The creative energy flows, and the sense of willing to let my light shine, to take it out from under a bushel, and to be that expression for which I have come into this world. And I need no board of directors to tell me, yeah, you can do that. I choose to be that for which I have been charged to bring into this world, and all that is necessary to support that light and that new idea and that new expression is in place, and the refreshing, the realigning is happening. For it's in this moment that I stand among a spiritual community, a spiritual family of individuals moving to an ever greater conscious connection with the infinite, that life, that infinite that stands behind the individual. And I know this high vibration, as we look upon the prayer requests brought to this community, that they are now fulfilled, that they are answered for those that have reached out, trusting in something greater. As Jesus said, thy faith has made you whole. Healing happens. For our beloved sister, Jennifer Sims, who reached out in the early AM, her mom, Ann Sims, in the process of making her transition. I know right now that she is able to move on with an ease and a grace, and knowing that nature provides for this transition from one plane to the next just as easily as it does coming into this world. It's just as natural. And so that Jennifer and her family is surrounded with the love, knowing Ann moves forward, being who she is always. Grateful to know that this community is here for one another. That we let go of the need to be serious for serious seriousness' sake. And we embrace the humor, the laughter, the joy, the lightness, the love. We let that light shine. And this I am grateful for, to be among a community that honors the laughter of God, and knowing it is available in this very moment and all moments. And so this I'm grateful, thankful that the words are shared that are the truth. They're manifesting, unfolding, expressing themselves in this moment. And I let go, for it's not my faith. I just let go with an unshakable faith that Spirit is, that I am, that God expresses in all those perfect ways. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. Come on, Seaside. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, come on, sing it from your heart. That's right. Beautiful. Come on, say no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes.
Yes. Hey, our affirmation is, I live in joy and laughter. Together, I live in joy and laughter. Touch your heart and say it again. I live in joy and laughter. One more time, like it's your truth. I live in joy and laughter. And our song of grace.